Hello seekers, welcome to Punneits Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. Now I made a video about Mars transit in Capricorn where I explained ascendant-wise what this Mars has to offer. You can watch that video after this video to know more about your ascendant. You can also watch that video as per your moon sign. But let us track the Nakshatra movement of Mars. From 18th February, Mars will enter a particular nakshatra, a nakshatra of moon, a nakshatra ruled by Bhagavan Vishnu himself, and the nakshatra represents knowledge, search of knowledge. It is a seeker nakshatra. It's a nakshatra that represents humbleness and complete surrender to the God. This is exactly what happens before you become powerful, before you become king, and before you become a leader, because every leader was once a follower. Every teacher was once a student. So which means that in order for this Mars to actually grow big, it has to follow and absorb the quality of this nakshatra. And the nakshatra we are talking about is Shravana nakshatra. Now Shravana is a very auspicious nakshatra. Entirety of it lies in the Capricorn zodiac sign. Until 7th of March, Mars will be in this particular nakshatra before it moves into Dhanishta nakshatra. And Dhanishta is the Martian nakshatra. It is the nakshatra of wealth, prosperity, and Mars becomes very strong in that particular nakshatra. In fact, Mars attains its highest point of exaltation in this nakshatra. But what about Shravana? It is like the precursor to power. First you need to listen before you speak. So one who is a good listener will become a good speaker. If you can't listen, if you don't have the ability to absorb the knowledge, you won't be able to radiate the knowledge. And that is exactly what a lot of people will do when Mars will go in Shravana nakshatra, especially if you have moon in Shravana, if you have Mars in Shravana, if you have fifth lord in Shravana nakshatra, this movement of Mars is going to be extremely auspicious. Shravana is a nakshatra ruled by moon. That means the planetary association with this nakshatra is of Chandrama, which means it is talking about the ability to create a perception of reality through your mind with what you hear. Now here is something where you will have to be careful also, that what all you hear may not be true. So do not react on something that you have heard or you have overheard a conversation. It can be misleading. So whenever you get an information, especially if somebody is saying that information to you, you need to verify that information in your own way. And after you are convinced that information is correct, believe in it. Otherwise, this can create misinformation campaigns throughout the world. You will also see that there will be misleading information given in the guise of something very positive. You will have to be aware of that also. This is more on the global level. But on a more spiritual level, it's a very good transit. See, Mars is a planet of energy, and Mars is a planet that represents your ability to execute a task, fulfill your ambitions. It is your willpower, it is your strength. So when it goes in Shravana nakshatra, your body, your mind starts listening to your strength. You will feel much more stronger, and you will feel the response coming from the circumstance, from the surroundings for many people who have positive Mars. But what if you have an afflicted Mars in your birth chart? If you have a very weak Mars, say Mars in deepest point of debilitation, or Mars with Saturn in your birth chart, Mars is with Ketu in your say 6th, 8th or 12th house, or any other way by which Mars can become weak or afflicted, say in Shadbal, how will this transform? See, this will be an inner calling coming from your within, where you will be told your true strength and weakness. It is the time where you can remove the weakness of Mars from your horoscope and actually pull up the Mars and make it really very, very strong. And for that you can do Mangal Shanti Path, Mangal Puja, Hanuman Puja. And on a very practical sense, Keep reminding yourself. Shravan, affirmations and manifestations will work best when Mars is in this particular nakshatra. Also observe that as long as Mars is in Shravan nakshatra, Venus accompanies Mars. That means there is a lot of creativity, a lot of support coming from Venus to this Mangal. That it's just not brute force, but there is some happiness, there is some charm to this particular placement. It can only hurt you if you are very aggressive towards your relatives, towards your loved ones, towards your spouse, and you're not listening what they have to say. You have to be a good listener when Mars is in this particular nakshatra. Watch this video till the end to know more about what is Shravan nakshatra. Before that, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon so that you don't miss another update. For consultations, please drop me an email, and you can also follow me on Instagram and Telegram. The links are in the description box below. Let's understand more and take a deep dive on what more this transit has to offer. See, Mars is a warrior. He has the potential to defend. And when in Shravana, it will defend what you believe in, what you have heard, what you have learned from the masters. So you will defend your knowledge with all your passion, all your might. And this is something positive, but try to imagine like this. If your information is incorrect, then what are you defending? That is where you need to ask questions. See, this is how I see Mars in Shravana Nakshatra. I see Mars in Shravana Nakshatra as Arjun, who is listening the discourse by Bhagavan Shri Krishna in the battlefield, and he is asking questions. He is confused, but he is listening. He may be perplexed that he has to, fight his own family. It's the biggest dilemma of his life. It's dharma sankat, but he is still listening. Imagine a normal man won't listen. He will just have his own assumptions. His own assumptions will overpower his decision making, and he will start fighting that I am correct. But see, Arjun is not saying I am correct. Arjun has surrendered to the Krishna. He said, I am not willing to fight. What's the point of killing my own brothers, my own family? They are the ones whom I have been raised with. And you are asking me to fight them. And then Krishna reminds him of the dharma and adharma. That it doesn't matter whether your family is it's your family or not your family. It's the question about dharma and adharma. Something that is right and something that is wrong. On the moral perspective, on the social perspective. And Krishna says, and Arjuna listens. See, this Shravana means to hear. It's the ability to absorb audible messages. That means your ears are going to be more active during this time, and you will have to be very careful what are you giving to your ears. Is it good information? Is it divine bhajan? Is it something that is relevant to your life, or you are just going and doing meaningless scrolling, meaningless listening to songs? Instead of listening to positive things that motivates you and uplifts you, are listening to something like negative music that triggers negative emotion. Remember, Mars is energy, and sound, music will trigger your energy and will refine its movement. Your prana urja will be refined by the movement of the sound, and therefore you need to listen to a lot of mantras. You need to listen to bhajan, and if you are unfamiliar to all of this, just listen to Om chanting and simply say Om. Do it loudly so that you can hear it. Remember, hearing is more important at this point of time. Shravana also represents knowledge. Why? Because see, Vedas, the four Veda, Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharva Ved, are said to be Shruti. Shruti means something that is heard, something that is remembered. Why? Because see, if each sound, I am not an expert in Vedas, but if you ask a Vedic expert, he will say there are different meters of the sound. And each meter is called Chanda. That means there are variations of vibration. You can't write that down. Say, I may be pronouncing incorrect, pardon me, but if something is like this, Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam, pardon me, I'm not right. But what I'm saying is, this Enyam, how will you write it down? You need to listen. Somebody has to correct you and you need to chant that thousands of times just to create that perfection of sound. Perfection of sound can only come by creation of sound, not by writing. Therefore, Shravana Nakshatra is also about seeking knowledge through hearing. That means Veda. So if you are talking about ancient times, you're talking about Vedic chanting, mantra chanting, Havan, students sitting in the Gurukul, teacher reciting the mantra, students are repeating that mantra, then phonetic correction is done, then lyrical correction is done, then matra correction is done, pitch of the sound is corrected, high pitch, low pitch, when to stop, what to do. That is exactly what you call as, say for example, you are like Google Assistant or Apple Assistant and you speak a certain, right, hello or something or hey something, voice command. Mars going in this nakshatra is going to empower you through voice command. That means you have to be very careful what you speak, what you are hearing, and therefore what you are trying to gather knowledge from. Where are you trying to gather knowledge from? What are you trying to gather? Are you listening to Vedas or are you listening to some crap stuff? Try to understand when Mars is going in Shravana, it is accompanying itself with Venus and Saturn is combust. It is heavily going to impact your mind, especially people who are Rahu moon, Ketu moon, Saturn moon conjunction will be heavily impacted by these energies. And suddenly you might have this strong urge to behave as per what your emotions say. That means you believe and you will act. And that is exactly what you should avoid. And you should listen to some positive bhajan, motivational speech. Students should listen to their own recording of the question and answer. All the technology is available now. You can use audiobooks to listen. It's a very good time for students. It's a very good time for anybody who wants to learn something. Students who want to study in foreign country will see great opportunity here. Because this nakshatra wants you to move, wants you to search for knowledge. Also, if you're looking for wisdom, if you're looking for astrological solutions, if you're looking for Vastu remedies, if done during this time, it's going to be really good. Because this nakshatra is also the nakshatra of wisdom. Now understand the story of Raja Bali and Vamana avatar of Bhagavan Mahavishnu, which is actually associated with this nakshatra. The grand wisdom comes in surrender to the Mahavishnu. You chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya loudly and constantly and taking the name of Krishna and Ram is the remedy here. From the mundane perspective, from the career perspective, if you are a good listener, good for you. Basically, it is going to create more competitive environment. It is going to make you listen to your competition. If you are focusing on what, instead of going for a unnecessary fight, if you go for a healthy debate, if you listen to what if you listen to your criticism, if you listen to your competitors has to say, if you take proper feedback and implement it, your business will grow multiple times. If you think you are the best and what you should say, world has to listen, then unless you are allowed by the divine to do so, you won't be able to achieve it, and there will be a lot of problems because Saturn combustion is happening second from this position. Also understand, Mars moving in Dhanish Nakshatra, Venus goes out. No support from Venus. There will be a Venus and Saturn and Sun conjunction in the sign of Aquarius from 7th of March. Venus being there also indicates that Mars is getting the support which kind of fulfills its position. It may not be a support that Mars wants, but it is a support that Mars needs. That means you will also get similar kind of support, especially if you are Taurus, Libra, Scorpio or Aries moon sign natives. But overall the trend is listen, hear, be positive, accept the competition and move in the right direction. because for otherwise financially and everything else, this is going to be a very good transit. I just wanted to share this message because this nakshatra is very powerful. For more information on Mars transit, what it has to do in this zodiac sign of Capricorn, you can watch my ascendant wise analysis. The link will be somewhere on the screen and in the description box below. Do watch that video for your ascendant. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, stay connected, subscribe the channel. Namaste.